2018 is a very special year at Vermeer. Not only are we celebrating 70 years as a business, we're also celebrating 20 years on the continuous improvement journey.
It is shocking what we look like compared to what we did then.
The way it all started was in the early 90s. We had tremendous sales growth, but we were also adding people, inventory, and in some cases, buildings. From a long-term strategy, that was going to be tough to sustain.
I went to several places to try to understand what is this all about? And then I began to see what flow was about and how the process looked for waste identification. And it became very clear that this was a process we needed to start seriously looking at Vermeer.
I remember at a time where we had so many parts. However, we didn't have the parts needed for the team members to build the equipment. And so it was really sad to walk through the plant and be out there with people because, again, they didn't have the right parts.
There were no good old days when it came to assembly and welding. I will never, ever forget the amount of dirt and the number of tools and just the amount of stuff we got rid of and how much smaller of a space everything took.
One of the key things is that workplace organization is a foundation for it. And if your workplace is organized, if things are sorted so that you only have what you need in the workplace, that right away makes you more productive.
The work culture has really changed because back then we had to convince people we were doing the right thing. So now I see the new generation coming in and this is all they know.
It's about people and how they transition through change.
I think that was a great lesson to learn. Often we don't ask enough whys.
One question we use that I think is very much related to continuous improvement is 2 years from now when we look back at this decision and we don't really care about how painful it was in the moment, is it the right decision?
What really impressed me at the time was the top-down commitment, and just to see the amount of leadership that was coming down to the shop floor and engaging in the shop floor activities, and it was monumentous.
This lean journey that we were on was not a spectator sport, but that everybody was to participate in it.
I mean, we had events that were 14, 16-hour days. We literally ate breakfast, lunch, and supper and worked through hours upon hours of cutting through the initial waste to find the process.
I was really fortunate. The pursuit of lean and Kaizen methodologies all came to us in the late 90s because we experienced our biggest downturn ever in the year 2001 through 2004. And if we hadn't been pursuing lean for a few years prior to that time, our inventories would have been out of control, but it would have been magnified if we hadn't been using lean tools for about 3 years.
Through teaching people how to solve problems and eliminate waste, it's freed up capacity and resources and space so that as we grow the business, we can add new products.
We always have to constantly challenge ourselves to be better and make your voice heard. Keep telling us how we can change things and make things better because we need to continually improve. There's competition all over the world for our products, and we need to make it the highest quality, at the lowest cost, so that we can be competitive at all times.
The future is filled with a lot of opportunity, a lot of promise, and with lean more ingrained as part of our culture, we're just better able to sustain the improvements that we've made, to sustain our profitability and sustain our ability to give our employees meaningful work to do.
You know, if Gary was alive today, 100 years after he was born, 70 years of Vermeer, 20 years of continuous improvement, I think Gary would have that little smile on his face and he would say, you know, good job.